perspectives we discussed so far, and also specifically we talk of pollution, environmental degradation on agriculture and crops. We've seen what's happened to the Himalayan glaciers, has its impact as well on the crops in Himachal Pradesh. We've seen what's happened, pollution on the impact of the output as well. When you look again at the larger solutions we talk about, where do you think the solutions are when it comes to agriculture? We're focusing on manufacturing. Why is there not so much of a focus on agriculture?
Well, first of all, the issue that we are discussing, you know, about the pollution in Delhi and so on, I'm really worried that we might end up copying Beijing, because Beijing on certain days has big screens laid out in the city where they show that sun has risen and now there is sunset, because you can't see the sun otherwise. So I think that's something which I think we should all be worried about, that we don't want to get into that stage. Now, having said that, your question is very pertinent, and I think the question is very important. Why? Because on one hand we are talking of changing, of ensuring that the climate change does not impact the environment and the development, so-called quote unquote process. But on the other hand, we are following the same systems which actually destroy what we are trying to protect. Agriculture is a classic example. Now, we have coined a term called climate smart agriculture. You know, I admire companies. They always come up with very fanciful, phrases or terms. And you were impressed that's climate smart agriculture, which includes genetically modified crops and also those highly intensive technology to raise productivity.
That's of course a whole separate debate on GM crops.
No, I'm not. I'm just because part of the climate smart. Now, in California and Texas, they are witnessing epic drought for last 3 years. You know, now there is a black marketing of water also happening in California. Such is the severity of the drought there. And GM crops have failed there. Now, that's the question that we should not be repeating here, A. Now, B, your question is that, what happens to the agriculture farming systems? You know, I was very happy when people start talking about the smog in Punjab and Haryana, which is creating problems in Delhi. After all, at least, thank God, at least because of smog, you realize there is a problem coming up from agriculture there. I think what is more important is to change that farming system, not only to worry about the problem here in Delhi, but to change the farming system, which is doing damage to both as far as the environment is concerned, plus the soil and water. And look at the cancer deaths in Punjab and so on. It has become a hotbed for cancer. So all I'm saying is these are the kind of system which should have changed. But I think more important is, as Sunita said earlier, who is willing to move from cosmetic changes to real hard decisions? You know, I remember Ban Ki-moon said in one of the World Economic Forum, I think it was in 2012, he said that I'm waiting for that man or that leader who can actually radically reform the entire economic system. The basic problem is the present economic growth model, which we don't want to address. Now, I think that is where the crux lies. Now, why I'm saying this is, if you look at not only this economic growth model, but look at even agriculture, you know, the same kind of system of raising GDP, the same kind of system of raising productivity is going on. You're right, it destroys the water bodies, it destroys the soil. Soil is terribly impacted in our country. Now, what is the way forward? Now, interestingly, you'll be surprised that Stanford University recently come out with a very interesting report study in China with the Chinese Agriculture University. They've come out said that China, if it were to stop using these intensive farming systems and go for integrated farming systems, they can produce food equal to what they are producing today till the year 2030, and also reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 30%. Now, the point I'm trying to make is our agriculture is actually causing greenhouse gas emissions or climate change. Why can't we bring in agriculture, radically overhaul the agriculture farming system so that the climate change is controlled right from there, rather than bringing some adaptation technologies later
to deal with the impact?